Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm moving. I'm in my new place, but still have a lot of unpacking to do. So, I've missed all of you. Those of you who are regulars really missed tuning into your energies every day and giving the daily checkity check. So welcome back and welcome in if this is your first time. So doing the daily checkity check, tuning into today's energies, what messages you need to know, what would be helpful, advice, messages, guidance, support, validation. So starting with the Kali Oracle card, Karma of Kali, number 38. Right. Karma of Kali. She is completely and utterly in love with your divine essence, and in her love bestows endless gifts. Your path need not be one of endless effort. Connecting with pleasure as a path of personal empowerment with an intention to bring spiritual benefit to the collective through softening and opening your heart is an act of worshiping the divine feminine. Relax into the presence of what is as you slow your pace and make swifter progress. I love this. Whenever I get this card, that last line, relax into the presence of what is as you slow your pace and make swifter progress. Slowing your pace and making swifter progress. So I love it. Chuck's finding his own spot. Normally he was on the couch next to me. Okay, so I'm tuning into a collective here. So take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, in the past, I've got the energy of the star, rebirth, healing. I'm getting a very star seed vibe from this. I'm getting that in the past there was a realization, a connection, somehow a knowing connection with other dimensions, other star systems. Something is bigger than just this earth life, than just this 3D world. You're much more expansive than you thought you were. I feel like, so once you got this feeling, this, it's not just one time, it's just this constant, I feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself. I feel like who I am extends past the boundaries of my skin and of my physicality, that I am much more expansive, that I can connect, that I'm receiving information from other spaces as well. Maybe for some of you, you might have been able to connect with those who've crossed, who passed, kind of a telepathic connection. Whatever this was that was like, wait a minute, the universe is not as small. My world is not as small. Then it feels like you had, what do I do with this information? Okay, now what? I feel like as you started tuning into more and more of the energies that are larger, more expansive, it became more and more difficult how to balance out old you and new you. The old world that perceives things as being confined, and we're having a singular experience and we're small and separate, versus what you're tuning into is, I'm much larger, I'm expansive, I can't hold all of that in my brain, but I know it more as a feeling space of that connection. So, but as you figured out how to integrate this new way of being and old way of being, you've stepped into divine feminine energy, abundance, ruling by doing less and getting faster, swifter progress, like the Kama of Kali was talking about. There's something about being in your power, taking back your feminine power. It has nothing to do with gender. So feminine and masculine energies behave differently. So I'm tuning into that. So feminine energies of receptivity, of allowing, of attractiveness. So doing less and allowing this magnetizing your energy and of what you want. So the energies work with you. Boy, this feels big, but it also feels kind of broad. It's what I'm getting for your past energies. Let's see what this has to do with your current energies. The Hierophant in reverse. This, to me, in present energy, I'm getting as systems and structures, especially around, not especially, no, it's just everywhere I'm looking, structures are disintegrating. Old ways of being, old patterns, old perspectives, old ways of doing business, old ways of being in relationship with yourself, being in community. Boy, there's a lot of dismantling coming out. Oh, there's a lot of structures that are dismantling right now in the current energy that we thought were, and at some point were, helpful structures, supportive structures. They're not any longer. There's a lot of falseness around these structures. A lot of structures have kept people purposefully indebted and small and ineffectual. These are questions coming up in the collective, and each of us are making our decisions internally, and then definitely getting an opportunity to speak, act on those decisions. Boy, there's a lot of intersections happening right now, and timelines, contractions and expansions. It will be difficult at times as systems crumble to allow systems that are outdated to crumble, to replace them with what you would prefer. Don't confuse comfortable with a system with being the most effective system possible. It feels like it feels like something big is happening in a broad, universal world expanse right now. A lot of systems coming apart, a lot of fast actions. Excuse me. I think some of these actions, I think as truths come out, boy, some people are going to behave in, quite frankly, batshit crazy kind of ways. What I'm getting is that as these systems and structures start disintegrating, they already have been, then it's like there have been a lot of people who have hidden behind these structures, been able to lie and manipulate and but hiding behind these structures, systems, belief systems, organizations, governments. But then it's like they're exposed and they become a physical expression in their actions of what they've been trying to hide. And so I feel like people are being exposed. You might feel exposed in this current energy as well. That's the beautiful part. So yes, some big figures, it feels like, in the world, as the systems crumble and they're not going to be able to hide, and they might get very reactive. With that being said, it might be happening on a smaller scale for you personally, feeling exposed, feeling vulnerable, feeling maybe even guilty or ashamed, or, oh my gosh, I was lying to myself. So you have an opportunity to double down and try to cling on to these structures that are crumbling, or just acknowledging, like, yeah, I've been participating unconsciously. I did not realize that I was like in a collaboration with parts of me that were toxic. I just didn't know. I didn't realize until then that this was a family trait that we just always did. And I just kept behaving in that way, not realizing how I was hurting others. I see that now. I feel like the more that we are able to take responsibility and accountability for our actions on a personal level, that will help inform the collective that it's okay, that, yeah, we just didn't know. We've got to grace. That's what this is talking about, grace. Not creating more divides between those who did wrong and those who are right and righteous, because that's what we're coming out of, is that separation of black and white, of duality that's super duper separate. I'm trying to separate myself from anything that I assume is bad or dark, or I'm trying to keep that away from me instead of realizing if I have the spark of divinity within me, if I am a part of God, if God is a part of all of us, then I am a little bit of everything. I have access to everything. So instead of trying to disown that part of me, how can I love that part of me? How can I embrace and hold space for that unlovable, mean, toxic aspects of who I am? If I won't hold a loving space for those aspects of me that are unlovable, who else is gonna, you know? And the more you hold space for all those aspects of who you are, you can understand others from a place of compassion. Again, just because loving someone and holding space and in that divine area does not mean no boundaries, does not imply complete access. I think I used to get confused loving someone. If I have those loving feelings, then they have complete access to me and my energy. And that is not the case. That has not been what I have found to be an effective way, because you have to love yourself first. And I love myself enough that I'm going to protect and care for myself. I want to continue on in this journey in a healthy way. So I protect my energy from those who would drain it without giving an energetic, reciprocal give and take, just because that makes sense, logical. I'm going to, I can have a great deal of compassion for those who are exploring darker paths, who are exploring manipulation and abuse and anger. I do not care to allow those energies next to me. I don't want to tune into them. Been there, done that. So it's not about judging them, making them bad. It's just realizing that they've got their own timeline and their own journey. And I wouldn't want them to, I received a lot of information being in those systems, a lot of lessons that were learned that I'm still learning. I wouldn't want to make what they're experiencing bad instead of giving them the freedom of time and space to figure their stuff out, even if it takes lifetimes. Okay, in the center of your reading is the Knight of Swords. There's higher self messages. Okay, so you're going to be getting, so as these systems tear down, as you've created this new way of being, right now you are ripe for a lot of new ways of seeing things, new truths. I don't feel like these are people necessarily coming in to tell you something. Hey, I got this new information. I got this new way of seeing things. I feel like this is more guides and light bulb moments, aha moments. It's going to help you. It's going to help you be more efficient, accurate with how you're seeing things. And it also looks like some of the perspectives that you're bringing in are from a higher point of view, so you can get a broader vantage point. I'm also getting that this helps with manifesting. You're going to get inspired, kind of like next steps. Wow. A lot of you are starting on a new journey, starting on a new cycle. You've done this before. You've done this a lot before. There's something about this lifetime, and whoever's tuning in to this, that you actually enjoy coming to Earth or wherever, whatever planet or space that you incarnate. You like big system shifting energies. You like being a systems buster and creating something. There's something about your energy because you want to create something new. This is a real profound time for creating. I feel like you, as a soul, oftentimes are drawn to these big energetic shifts, dismantling of society, rebuilding. A lot of you might identify with like French Revolutionary times, getting that. Times where there historically a lot of upheaval in the collective, where there's been an imbalance of power. There's a lot of purpose that I'm getting, that you derive a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment from fulfilling your purpose. Yeah, this is I'm getting, if you only knew how energetically supported you were by non-physical beings, by consciousness, you wouldn't be as worried. Well, you've got lots of protection around you. Protection to me is always a tricky concept, because energetically, if you feel scared and fearful, you want protection. But by tuning into a lot of your fears, you're actually the one that is bringing in what you're like drawing in, you're magnetizing, you're attracting in the thing that you want to be protected from. And so it has been more of my viewpoint that instead of asking for protection, I'm just going to deal with that fear. Face it head on, feel it, see where it's coming from, what it's about. Don't amplify it for sure, or exaggerate it or add to it, and get to the root of it, so then you don't need the protection, because you've addressed the fear, you've released that, so you don't need the protection. But this type of protection, I feel like it's okay, thank you. So what this type of protection is, as your vibration rises, lower vibrational energies are just going to be drawn to your light. And that darkness is being attracted because on some level it wants to be healed. However, it might feel like the experience of dense energies coming in, and I don't want to say attacking, because that does feel like an exaggeration of what I'm talking about, but it does feel like a heaviness, a weightedness. So the protection that I'm seeing is protecting your light, and that you need to protect your light too. Really focus on what it is that, what you're thinking about during the day. Stop and examine and say, is this something I want to create more of? By me tuning into this and adding my energy to it, I'm expanding this energy. Is this something that I want to create more of? Am I worrying about something, and am I creating more of a worry? Or am I basking? And then, yes, bask, amplify that. Be very conscious of your thoughts. There's something about learning how to hold your light. Yeah. So right now, so as these energies are shifting, as these big changes are happening, you are much more psychic. You are able to tune into that, again, divine feminine energy, attracting, allowing. I think some of what's coming up right now in the collective are people who have tried to manipulate and control are going to have a harder and harder time it's a great time. It's an invitation from divine feminine energies to allow situations and people to show up and show you who they are, not get frustrated, upset, or angry that they're not who you need them to be, or who you want them to be, how you prefer them to be. Be an observer and say, this is who they are. They are showing up and they are showing me who they are. This situation is happening right now and showing me if this is a good situation, like if this is a good fit for me or not. So instead of me getting so disappointed and upset that things aren't working out for me, I am looking at the landscape of my life and being able to discern if this is a good fit or not. Boy, I feel like you are incredibly intuitive right now. You might not, you might just know things and have a knowingness, and it's going to be difficult to try to logically explain. I feel like that's also your discerning, like, how do you come to grips with knowingness? I just know this is right. I can't explain it to others. It's just a knowingness. I don't want to use that as an ego boost, like I knew that was going to happen, but I know. I feel very confident. It's how I move through my day. Okay, so the people who are tuning into the light, their light, reading the energy of light and focusing more on what that information is telling them, are going to be more successful moving forward in this type of energy, because that's what's needed, what's required to be able to navigate in light. It might be tempting to see with your physical eyes in the 3D, some really messed up things in your environment and maybe in the collective's environment, and not make that the big story. Not so you can tune into things that are happening. It feels very chaotic, honestly. Disruptive, chaotic, but that's things falling apart. That's what was meant to happen. So this happened to me last week when I started tuning into that chaotic energy. My emotions started matching that, and I started agreeing that I'm falling apart, that my plans are falling apart. See what I mean? And when I was able to find my alignment and tune back into my own energy, not judge that I fell out of alignment, and that's what I was doing, because that really helped me see that I have choices of how to run my energy, and it's okay to have an off day. It's all about learning. But with that being said, once I switched back to my alignment, things got a lot easier. People showed up at the right time. Timing was perfect. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I just felt like it's going to work out. It's a weird way of being, but it was amazing how things just came together. When I was focusing on that things aren't working out, I can't control people, I can't control timing, then things got really rough. All right, so your challenge is 4 of Swords. Yes. Healing. This is requiring, this is going to take a lot of back and forth, a lot of 4 of Swords, a lot of Hermit, a lot of going within to heal, knowing when it's time for me to take care of myself and heal. Rest, take care of your body. Radical self-love. Am I drinking enough fluids? Am I healthy water? I feel like your body really wants some attention, wants some love. Also, okay, at the Kama of Kali talks about pleasure, bringing physical pleasure in, enjoying your body, enjoying life. There might be a lot of doing, deconstructing. So as you tear down, as you're not even tearing down, things are tearing down around you that are no longer going to work in the new energies. When you go to that resting place, when you go within and heal, when you meditate, when you're like, oh, I do need to take some time and really heal from this. Love yourself. What is it that you want to bring in? During the tearing down, you are releasing and letting go of systems and beliefs and people that no longer serve you. And when you are healing, you are amplifying and you're unscattering your energy and you're bringing in what you do want to create. So it feels a little bit of a back and forth of releasing what I don't want, getting a bit depleted, noticing that, and then just creating a nice bath, literal bath and a light bath for myself to keep filling back up with love and light and energy, and letting go, and then filling back up, and then letting go and filling back up. You've got this. You're doing a great job. So That's your reading. I hope this was helpful. I'm so glad to be back. Yeah. Take care, everybody. Bye.